will be moderated by Davit Gabunia. You have met already today him, and speakers will be Simone Bühler, Head of Guest of Honor Program at the Frankfurter Buchmesse, and Karina Goldberg, Project Manager Guest of Honor at the Frankfurter Buchmesse. Thank you very much.
So hi again. As I said, I'll be back. Hello, Karina and Simone, our speakers. So I will do just a very short introduction to what Frankfurter Buchmesse, Frankfurter Book Fair meant for us and how important it was, and how the importance of this book fair cannot be underestimated for Georgian literature and Georgian book market and publishing in general. So as I'm sure all of you know, it was in 2008 when Georgia was the guest of honor country. Before that, there was a huge, a very long and important process of preparations, and it took many interesting turns. And then we would ask today Karina and Simone to share their impressions and their experience of working with their Georgian partners. And we're starting with the video, right? Okay, so my colleagues will share a little video with you now.
მოდის გზა ხმა მოდის მზე სხვა მოდის ცა ცა სხვა მზე გზა საითქარის იელქანი ქრის ძილს გვრის მეშენი ალერსი და მღლის
Wherever Georgia is the guest of honor, that's the right place for the European Union to be.
Everybody is so excited about Georgia's presentation. The newspapers are full of it. Everybody's talking about Georgia. Everybody wants to go to Georgia.
ქალაქში წერილი მოვიდა წვიმს შორიდან მოვიდა და სახურავზე ასვლა მომინდა ჩანს
წერება და თქმულა არის ის რომ ნამდვილად განსაკუთრებით სხვა ქვეყნებთან შედარებით არაადეკვატურად დიდი ინტერესია გაჩენილი და იმედია რომ რა თქმა უნდა ჩვენ და ჩვენი პირველ რიგში ჩვენი კულტურით ამ იმედებს გავამართლებთ
სახლები ძველი და სახლები ახლები ძველები და ახლები ახლები მაღლები ქუჩიდან სახლიდან შორიდან
დღევანდელი დღე სამბები ეს ბაზრობა წიგნისა
Okay, thank you. As this is quite a long video, we will send you the link and you can enjoy it at your leisure. So now I'm going with my first question to Karina and Simone. So what were the first steps, so to say, where it all began, and the first steps in the preparation process and making of this program, Georgia Guest of Honor in 2018? So, dear friends.
Yes, first of all, I would say, very big and warm hello to Georgia before starting this conversation. It is a very emotional moment to And we are very happy as well about this invitation to this talk and to be part of the forum dialogue that you are running since many years, I think, in such a professional way. And talking about professional way, yes, this is something about emotional and professional way. I think it is something that will repeat many times, these two aspects, talking about the Georgian Guest of Honor presentation. How everything started with Georgia being a guest of honor. This is a long story. As you probably know, the guests of honors of Frankfurt Book Fair are projects which start usually after having many talks with many different people, and mainly it is also the case that there are one or two motor people who are getting in touch with the whole, yes, of course, publishing community, with the government of the guest of honor, and of course with Frankfurt Book Fair as well. And this came in the case of Georgia. These motors came around, I think, the very first time with Tina Mamulashvili knocking at my door at the guest of honor office at the book fair. And then there was we talked in a very, very general way of the guest of honor. And some years after that, of course, there was then the official, let's say, candidature of Georgia with at that time Minister of Culture Wurwa, who saw a very good possibility in presenting, of course, and bringing Georgian literature and culture on the international platform. I have to admit that at that time, and this is also, I think, what my colleague Tobias, who was at that time in very close contact with everybody, and of course Jürgen Boos, who is sending, the director of Frankfurt Book Fair, who is sending the best regards, they would also underline this, that at this time we didn't know a lot about all those, yes, not concrete what Georgia how the guest of honor of Georgia will be, but there was a slight idea that it will be very special, and I think it was in every sense very special and characterful.
Thank you, Simone. So the short video we started with this session depicts the pavilion mostly, and what was happening around the pavilion. For those of you who were there, you know how it looked, and then you will have a chance to look. But we would like to hear from you, Karina, this time. How was the actual presentation? So what would you underline and what would you note mostly of this presentation?
Yes, first of all, also from my side, so very Didi Madloba for inviting us to this session, and Gamar Joba to everybody in Georgia, but also to all the other participants. So it's really nice to be again in touch with you. And as Simone and I were preparing a little bit for this conversation, we remembered lots of things, and we didn't know so many things that are so great to tell about, so that we have to select. So basically, I think regarding the guest of honor presentation of Georgia, I have here, maybe you know, this is the Book Fair Cup, because it shows, I just wanted to show it because it shows the main logo, which was Georgia made by characters, and it's really a best practice example. I would say that this guest of honor slogan really was a kind of red line, a storyline for the whole year of the guest of honor presentation of Georgia, because these characters, like the alphabet, was present, as you saw in the film, in the pavilion, so in the heart of the presentation, with the beautiful 33 characters of the Georgian alphabet, but the characters were also present with the authors. So it were like more than 70 authors at the Frankfurter Buchmesse and throughout the year in Germany, also presenting their new titles. So the characters behind so the stories, and also the stories translated into German. So we had more than 150 new titles in German, so that the people really could discover what is it about this Georgia made by characters. And in the fair, so you could really recognize, so Georgia was not only present in this beautiful pavilion with 2 stages and a big program, but also, of course, the Georgian publishers at the collective stand, and many stands in different topic areas of Frankfurter Buchmesse, which is really great, so that this Georgia made by characters was in the education area and the arts area, in the kids and illustrators, and the gourmet, because the culinary program was also very important in the Guest of Honor Year of Georgia. So, and when we are going outside of the fair, which always belongs also to a Guest of Honor presentation, is also the cultural program. And we had the Georgian characters and the stories of Georgia also represented very well in a very varied way in the city of Frankfurt, with 16 exhibitions and music program, theater, film, different art exhibitions, but also performances and parties as well, and culinary program. So Georgia was really very present throughout the year, with many events, starting like at the Leipziger Buchmesse, for example, but also with other literary festivals in Germany, and then culminating, of course, in October in the fair in the city of Frankfurt. So I think that this Georgia made by characters red line was really a very round thing.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, as I mentioned in the beginning, so the importance of Guest of Honor program and being a Guest of Honor at the Frankfurter Buchmesse, this great book fair for Georgians, cannot be underestimated. So we as Georgians, and I myself had an honor to be a part of it, of course, we appreciate it and we value it a lot. And that's understandable, because that was our chance to present ourselves on such a huge scale. So, but I'd like to ask you, both of you in this case, so how was this presentation and the whole program seen through the eyes of the Germans? So what were the outcomes and discoveries? Well, because it's understandable our joy and happiness about it, but how was it seen through the German eyes?
So I think for everybody who was at the book fair in these 5 days and who was in Frankfurt, and this doesn't refer exclusively to Germans, because there are many people there from more than 100 countries. But of course, the core, let's say, and how Georgia was received to that here in Frankfurt, I would say, especially as a first aspect, is yes, it was really something. I think it is. It was. Even if it is a word which is used a lot in marketing, but I don't want to use this in the way of marketing, it was a discovery for many people. And it was something, not only a discovery to have a look at and where you consume it, but where you get really into it. So it was really, I think, one of the Guest of Honor presentations who achieved really to be very, very close and be really present in a very intense way, as it was in Georgia. So as the people really felt this. And I think we all learned, and also, of course, the visitors, the readers, also the journalists and the media, we all learned a lot about Georgia, about Georgian attitudes, and about the role of and how Georgian literature and culture, but of course mainly, of course, literature and authors are as characters.
And maybe, yeah, if I can
Yeah,
add something. So as now watching the little film or the first minutes of your film about the book fair presence, there is on one moment, it's Jürgen Boos, our director, saying, everybody speaking about Georgia, everyone wants to travel to Georgia. And in fact, that was really the case. So, so I think, as Simone mentioned, so there were many journalists, maybe, and publishers who were in Georgia also before this October presentation for their preparations and press trips and publishers trips. But then after the book fair, after the guest of honor presentation in Frankfurt, I think what Georgia showed there in this stories that Simone was mentioning, that the people had the feeling that they discovered really something deep, and that they wanted to go then deeper, maybe, you know, so that we discovered a little bit through this 33 characters and through the authors and through really the literature and everything what was the stories that were presented, that people got really very curious and that wanted to experience it really on site then, not only in the pavilion, but really going there. And also I think what made people also wanting to go there was also that the Georgians really they really managed to bring this to Frankfurt, what we learned about, like, for example, the supra, this meal that we share all together, or this dinners, let's say, that the host is inviting and to be really very friendly with the guests, and that the people, the visitors at the book fair, but also publishers, I think, and the partners in the cultural sector, or the journalists, they really felt welcome, and they really felt very close and wanted to know more and see everything like on site, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, that's good you mentioned supra, because, you know, one thing I really regret about it, that you not having all of you this year in Georgia, is definitely Georgian food. I don't look myself like a big eater, but believe me, it's delicious. Someday we'll manage to invite you to that. So on that note, so what were your personal expectations? Like and let's be honest about it. So did you expect it would be a success or not? What was your personal attitude towards the whole process?
Well, I think it is really kind of difficult to say, because you know, it is, for me personally, it is a whole it is at least 2013 at least 5 years of living together with the guest of honor and sharing all the ups and downs and experiences and learning about that. Yeah, so I think there was not a first there was not a real concrete first expectation. Yeah, it was it was more so my approach to that is maybe more the point that it is yeah, let's see what will happen. It's more curiosity than it is really expectation. And in this case, as I said, as I really didn't know, and I was so absolutely impressed when I went for the first time in my life to Georgia, and I saw the first time in my life that I thought that would never happen, to see the Caucasus, etc., to be at that part of the world, let's say, and to know about that. So everything was very, very new, and it was more a learning than an expectation. What was and what was maybe more than expectation is that the whole development of these at least these 5 years, what happened in the publishing, in Georgian publishing, what happened regarding the Georgian National Book Center, of course, that it was funded, that started its work in the internationalization of Georgian literature. And all these things, it is an incredible, intense development. And I think that this is more, and of course, in the end, when October was there, we were all expecting a lot. Yes, we were very happy and expecting a great presentation that really happened. So
maybe
there was no disillusion.
Just as a little addition, so also I have to admit as well that I really didn't know almost anything about Georgia when the preparations started, so I didn't have any concrete expectations. But the first visit of the Georgian team in Frankfurt, I remember quite well, because even if I didn't know anything, I didn't read any Georgian authors before, I had to admit, and so I didn't have a very concrete idea. But then meeting the people, so the real characters, yes, who presented their team and their ideas. So I think then the expectations really became or got started, because I really felt that that the Georgians involved in this preparations, they were really so keen, and so they had such an energy and such a commitment to do lots of things, and very many things also to start them completely on a new base, and to work really very hard and very passionate. And so I think this is something that really was increasing, and I think that also our colleagues or the other partners in the publishing or cultural sector, they really felt this, that there were people so committed, and that then the expectations started to rise, because they knew this is a team and a guest of honor. They really want to show something. They really want to do something, and it's really something that it's very important to them. So Georgia took it really very serious to show, these characters and stories, and they had something to say. Yeah.
Yes, you actually have answered my next question about the Georgian team. So myself, not being the direct part of it, I can ask that question about the Georgian team. What can you tell about your partnership in this case? I don't mean like I'm not asking for compliments and the personal evaluations, but as a partnership with your Georgian colleagues, how was that? And what can you tell us a little bit about it, maybe? This was my last question.
Okay, so about, I think it is a very, very good question, because one of the very important elements of the project, or how we, let's say, see the Guest of Honor project, also from Frankfurt Book Fair side, is that it is based on a cooperation. It is not a show which is a one-way show where you bring things in and we just are, let's say, providing space and everything comes in, but it is a close in all the elements of the program and the project. It is, or it should be, something which goes hand in hand, and which create something which is in this way very unique. And so in the case of Georgia, the cooperation with, let's say, the organizing team of the Georgian National Book Center, as well as with the several partners who were close, but of course the core was with the Georgian National Book Center. It grew, so it grew like a, yes, also the partnership was growing, because as there were also some in parts, of course, very difficult situations, and the project itself was in a difficult situation, and there were conflicts going on, which really usually happens with guests of honors all over the world. Yeah, it is something which has, but in that way it was very, so the point that there was always a very collaborative attitude from the Georgian side, also, let's say, asking us and requiring our support. There was growing, let's say, a kind of cooperation and understanding, and also possibilities to make things happen, which was really very deep and very constructive. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Karina, maybe you would like to add something? Or
yeah, maybe just one little addition. So I think as I said, so it seemed a little bit far away, and maybe geographically Georgia was not so close to Frankfurt, but we really throughout this whole guest of honor preparation, and especially throughout the 2018 year, we felt that we were very close, that the team really always involved us in every work in progress, what they were working on, and what as Simone said, what the difficult situations and circumstances would be like, and also really it was really like you are calling it forum dialogue. It was really a dialogue, and it was only one direction. And what makes us always very happy is that this very close relationship, it didn't end with the handover ceremony 18 to 19, but really we had the impression that there are many people in Georgia and still working on this, on holding this sustainable relationships that they developed throughout the preparation and throughout the year with the publishers, with us from Frankfurter Buchmesse. So we see that also in the book fair last year, or maybe this year, or with such virtual formats that you are now doing. So that really there are things still going on, and that the relationships still have been maintaining. So so I think this is a very good thing when guest of honors really have a focus on sustainability.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, myself, from my personal experience and on behalf of all Georgian writers participating in that huge program and this unique opportunity for us, I would like to add to that it's been going on since then. For me personally, as an author, so it was a huge jump, so to say, huge opportunity. And then the doors, new and more new doors are open to me, which I wouldn't have been able to do without that. And thank you for that effort and for all your merits. And in the end, you can see in the chat section, we wanted to show you the video, but the quality of the stream is not so really good. So that's why we thought, okay, there will be an optional video. And in the chat section, you will see 2 YouTube links. And the first one is our promo, so to say. And all those 33, it's a graphic video, the presentation, so which was made earlier, prior to the book fair. And it was like an introductory video to all the events. And it describes all 33 Georgian characters with some stories behind them, how they sound and what they mean. And some of them are really funny and jokes. Some of them are very serious. So just enjoy the video. And then the second link is the full version of the report video, so to say, how the presentation was. So thank you for your attention. And thank you, dear Karina and Simone, for participation. And on that note, we'll say thank you to everyone, all the participants, and goodbye.
Didi Madlova, bye. Thank you.
Thank you again.